Welcome to the Burning Pallets Podcast, sponsored by Texsource. Here's your host, Ryan Boland.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan here with Burning Pallets Podcast. We're at the Impressions Show in Long Beach. Massive show, if you guys don't know. We're here with Bruce Basen, SAATI. Welcome. Thank you for joining the podcast. As always, Mike Coley, the...
Hey, everybody.
Second in charge.
Yeah.
The creator of the Burning Pallets Podcast. But we're pleased to be at the Impressions Trade Show. It's been a lot of fun. Bruce is our first person at the show.
Yeah, this is a coveted spot. You're
the first.
This will set the tone.
For the first true vendor that we're going to be interviewing. Lots of vendors, customers that we're going to be interviewing, talking to, but I think that we've kind of catered this podcast to get a lot of vendors, a lot of knowledge that's in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bruce certainly has got some over on the SAATI team. So,
and side note, even in this industry, I mean, I grew up in the screen printing. You've seen me grow up in here.
I sure have.
You're probably one of the main. You, Max, Jay, I think one of the few that see me grow up from tiny into this.
Yeah, I got into this in the late 80s. So I spent a lot of time in the screen print industry. Most of it textile related, the past 10, 15 years, branching out into other parts of the screen print industry, graphics, ASI companies, like that. There's a lot of stuff that's screen printed that nobody even realizes.
It seems like it's kind of stayed the same, and all of a sudden the past 2 years has exploded with that DTF. Always been screen printing, simple, plastisol, water-based. Now the whole quick and easy DTF, all that stuff's coming up. But
yeah, it's got its place, but I'm sure Bruce will tell you that the products that SAATI has been there. They've always been like a technology-based company, the higher end type stuff with their. So what's your setup like here, Bruce, as far as the booth, and what all did you bring to the show?
Well, first of all, let me go back on what you're saying about some of the new things. Back in the mid-90s, everybody was talking about digital was going to take over screen printing, and screen printing was going to be around in 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, this is 30 years later, and
yeah,
that's still around, and it's still strong. There's areas that have morphed into more of the digital, but the screen printing is still the most effective, efficient way to do longer runs and quality runs. Digital is also quality.
We're being
Schluter wants Bruce your autograph.
Yeah, we're being heckled from the from the
I'm
crowd
being heckled
already.
by people I've known for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. You've seen me grow up in these, and I've come to these shows all the time, just running around with a little kid. So all these people we've known forever. But anyways, back to the booth.
So, SAATI is we've got a booth full of equipment that's been a strong part of our business lately. Of course, SAATI's been weaving mesh for over 85 years. We manufacture emulsions, chemicals,
bulletproof vests.
We have different divisions.
Yeah.
We have a protection division. We have medical division. So there's different things that SAATI's involved in, and a lot of it all works around mesh.
Very, very clean facility. I mean, we've walked it multiple times. This place is spotless.
Let me ask you a technical question, because this comes up a lot, from people that follow our channel, and I get questions. S-mesh, right? So how is that, in your words?
It's really thin thread mesh.
Yeah, and why would someone say, like, hey, I want to try S-mesh, and what are some of the things that people say about it that aren't necessarily, I mean, why are you using it?
First of all, it's thin thread mesh, and SAATI brand is called Hydro Mesh. What the thin thread mesh basically does is it gives you less mesh interference when you're printing. So when you're printing and you have, so many threads per inch and they're thick, the ink has to go around the thread. If you have a thinner thread, you have less mesh interference, so you can get better coverage
More ink.
with a higher mesh count. And if your EOM is a percentage, emulsion over mesh, you're actually putting down less ink, getting better coverage, and clearer, crisper prints.
Is it for everybody?
Well, the one thing I tell people right off the bat is it's a thinner thread than what you're used to. And most textile shops, people are, don't really take as much care of their mesh as maybe they should.
True.
And, the management wants to blame it on the people on the floor. It becomes a new learning experience on how to do it. You really need to just be more careful with your mesh.
So S-mesh, thinner threads.
Hydro mesh.
Hydro mesh, thinner threads.
We got to get the brand in there.
Yeah.
The brand.
Higher mesh count, I would think, lays down more ink.
If you use the same thickness of emulsion versus a percentage of emulsion over mesh, it's going to lay down more ink. If you're actually using the percentage of EOM emulsion over mesh, because you don't need as high amount of emulsion because you're not trying to go around the thicker thread.
Okay.
So you're getting that. Now, we've actually done some tests where we've done the standard mesh and the hydro mesh, both at the same percentage of emulsion over mesh. And we weighed the difference in ink, and the one with the hydro mesh weighed less, which means you were using less ink than the standard mesh.
And all this ties in to Dustin at Basic Printing and More. He's dialed his mesh in with that LTS that you guys put in, and he came and did a presentation at our facility, and he talked about the EOM, just exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And taught everybody, and Jacob, our new guy, he answered all the questions perfectly, but the LTS that you guys set up and all that was going on was really helpful, and it helped his digital squeegee that he has.
Well, with the LTS, you're actually doing pretty much a digital image, because the laser is imaging and exposing the screen at once. So rather than put down ink on a screen or ink on a film that has a tendency to spread or wax, we're actually imaging the screen with a laser. So a dot is what I tell people, a dot is a dot versus an amoeba, because you're not getting splatter. So you're getting true dots, you're getting good sharp lines.
Yeah,
it's
incredible.
That becomes more and more important. So when you go to a customer who is using some kind of direct-to-screen with an inkjet, and you show them what they're printing and their 1 to 100 dot, and they say, well, I can get a 5% dot. Well, I'll take that, and I'll use a densitometer to measure the actual size of the dot, and their 5% dot might be 11%, 12%, 14%, where I can go in with the laser and dial it in where my 5% dot's pretty close to 5%, 4, 5, 6%. And you're not getting all the dot gain, and you're getting more of a true image.
We need to get more of those tools at Texsource as well.
And we're slowly adding on, but we definitely need the thickness gauge and stuff like that, so that.
What did Jacob have? That little.
Well, he's got a little microscope. He's buying a thickness gauge, and of course we brought on the 21-step sensitivity guide, right, which helps you dial in your exposure. But there's all kinds of stuff. We can measure the humidity of the screen as well. That's another tool to have in your kit, especially the bigger shops where you're doing tons of screens and big rooms. But
one of the things that we at SAATI do, and they let the sales guys do, is actually spend time with the customer to really work with them to become more efficient, effective, and quality. And that's been a big positive. We have our Pro Coat, which is our automatic coating machine, so you get consistency of emulsion thickness.
Not to be confused by Texsource Pro Coat.
Pro Coat.
Okay. Pro Coat emulsion, good emulsion, I know that.
Yeah.
And we also have a drying cabinet. You want to dry a rack of screens in 20 minutes?
Yeah.
you've got it. Also, we have auto reclaim. We're a Zentner dealer, or actually we sell Zentner equipment. What else do we have in our booth? We have a screen cleaning machine. So we have a full range of equipment that helps people become efficient, effective, and, be more in tune to freeing up employee time.
Yeah.
You can free it. Nowadays everybody's looking for employees. If you can figure out how to have your current employees do other things because their time's not tied into what they're doing, it becomes a big factor.
The automation, even here in California, we were told that they're raising up the minimum wage to $25 an hour. And all this machinery basically pays for itself in automation, especially with the minimum wages continuing to increase.
ROI
that sucks for employees, but
ROI on equipment becomes more and more important. That's one of the things with I talk to people about the SAATI LTS is you turn it on in the morning. As soon as the computer comes up, you're imaging screens. There's no nozzle checks. There's no cleanings. So
Changing
first
heads.
20 minutes, there's no changing heads. So the first 20 minutes, rather than going through all that startup, you probably got 8 screens done or more.
And
so it's you're freeing up time.
And I think that when you you have technologies that all that together is the right way to do. That's how you get the good work out there, because they're going to demand clean work. We're not just printing Joe's Roofing anymore. If you want to play with the big boys, you got to have all of these things in line, like your emulsion over mesh. You got to be able to control your dot gain, and you need consistency. And that's what people aspire to and grow up to. And I think SAATI is a part of that, as far as people that are looking to go at the highest level.
Well, we strive for that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of seasoned salespeople who've been in this industry a long time in different aspects of it, and different parts of the industry, whether it's graphics or the textile end. It's it's a good combination there.
Now, I don't know if it matters for the podcast, but SAATI and Chromaline merged.
SAATI actually bought Iconics, which is Chromaline.
Yep.
About a year and a half ago, and they're now under the SAATI umbrella of companies. We're still work them separately.
Yep.
They still do their thing. We still do our thing.
Yeah.
We brought some manufacturing into the SAATI location. We brought in some new equipment there to handle the increased productivity that we need in production.
Are you going to start selling the Chromaline?
Chromaline.
Is that against
Chromaline sells Chromaline.
The lime?
Yes, SAATI sells our SAATI branded products.
Yeah.
So we've been very successful with a lot of different products, particularly some, textile PV's been a staple in the photopolymer market for a long time.
It's not even just standard plastisol. I mean that you post-expose it. That stuff holds up on.
Well, we came up with the PHU series, which works with plastisol, discharge, and water base, and that's been a big area. And then we have a few different products in the PHU area. We have the PHU HR, which you can get a little bit better resolution. So there's different ways to not have to have a lot of different emulsions. You can have one emulsion for all your textile needs.
It's finding what your shop's doing and finding the right one. I think that's where your salespeople can kind of point people towards what's our emulsion that we need to be using, and then the questions come, and then you're like, try this.
Well, I know on our even on our LTS, our laser to screen unit, somebody's using a different brand of emulsion. They want to know, can I still use that? And I tell them, yes. I said the LTS is going to work with any emulsion. I also tell them that there are some emulsions that work better, and that's some of the things that we've developed. But to tell you that you have to use our emulsion, no. But to tell you that you'll probably get a better resolution image and exposure using that.
So, I mean, selling it the SAATI LTSs, and a lot of people, vendors like SAATI or NASDAR, stuff like that, they'll tie in contracts with these types of sales. To screen printers out there, we've never liked doing contracts and forcing people to only buy for that year or 2 years those products. What do you think about people trying to tie in contracts for screen printers?
Well, there's a couple different reasons.
It sucks. I mean,
well, the one thing is there's companies that don't want to be tied in.
Yeah,
if you're tied in and there's other products out there you should be using. It's just like a salesperson really isn't doing the customer justice by just telling them, this is the best thing because that's what I have. Rather than, you really should look at some other things. But, as you get more and more into time being into sales and you want to help your customers more and more, you really need to be honest with them on what they should have and why, whether it's yours or not. I mean, for me to tell you that everything I have at SAATI is the best out there, no, I honestly tell customers that, that's what you should look at.
Yeah.
That's what you should look at because that's the right thing. And you know what? It's a lot easier to doing that for 30 plus years and going back, and the customer has a lot of confidence in you.
Yeah.
We'll still let you back in your shop.
Yeah, trust.
I mean, we've done some testimonial type videos on YouTube on the LTS with some of our customers, and we ask them, about the equipment, and it makes me feel good when they talk about me, helping them over the years. It's just
trust is
something
huge.
I'd like to do. I've been doing this a long time, and I love what I do, so that helps.
How much longer are you going to be here?
According to my wife, it's probably the day after I die.
She likes to keep you away from the house?
Well, we don't fight. Only on weekends when I'm home.
Oh, man.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You got your crazy question you're going with?
I don't know. Should we throw this on Bruce?
Well, I was under the understanding that you're going to throw something to me out of nowhere. So
okay.
I'll answer it out of nowhere also.
Okay, this is pretty heavy, so I want you all to be prepared.
Do I need a dictionary to understand the words you're going to use?
No, but you may have to say, let me come back to you later.
Okay.
Here goes. In screen printing, the mesh plays a crucial role. How does the strength of our personal mesh affect our ability to navigate life's challenges?
Wow, it's heavy stuff there.
It's almost pointless stuff.
It's, first of all, you have to feel comfortable with yourself in living your life.
There you go.
I mean, if you're not comfortable with yourself, whether it's not happy with what you're doing or your job or your home life, figure out how to do that. I mean, it makes every day a little bit better for you if you're not walking around pissed off all the time.
Yeah,
that is an A+.
And people can read. And
Yes.
people can read that.
Bruce, you have knocked it out of the park. That's awesome.
You have got you've gotten Mike. You thought you were going to throw him off, and no.
No, I was hoping for some insightful, boil life down to are we happy or not?
That's a great answer.
I'm not a guy of many, many, many words. I like to just here's what we need. Here's what the point is, and that's what it is. So figure it out from there.
Yeah, that's great.
Side note, you remember Pancho, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be here at the show, and we're going to do a couple podcasts with him as well. But I thought that was good that he's going to be here. Get to see him again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of all of us.
Well, I worked for Texsource 15, 12 years ago too.
Yeah.
So it was a good time there. It was good for me. I didn't travel as much.
Yeah.
My son was playing college baseball for a local team, so
you traveled a lot for that as well.
They gave me a way to see him play a lot.
I remember you were going to a lot of those college games.
Yeah.
What college did he play for again?
UNC Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were good.
They were good, and he was good. He started at third base for 3.5 years out of 4. So
Charlotte had a good baseball team. Their football team is better now.
They didn't have a football team where they were just starting, and he was there. Yeah.
They were just starting. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cool. Yeah. Got anything else for Bruce? He killed your one answer. You have nothing else for him.
No,
Or one question.
I mean, I'm happy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is an indication of how people are going to give me this insightful stuff, we got this gold nugget here. I'm happy, man.
All right.
You're making me blush.
All right, Bruce. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks for joining us at the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And, have a good show. And
Absolutely.
It's great seeing you guys
Likewise.
again.
Thank you.
Yeah, great kickoff.
See you guys.
Yeah.